Hi, Claudia here from Create with Claudia. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today we're going to be doing an 18.5-inch block. It's called the Greek Cross, and let me show you my tester block. Here it is, all pretty in purples. This Greek Cross block is also the March block for my mystery quilt, the 2021 Stars of the Prairie mystery quilt. So if you're joining in with that, at the end of the tutorial is just a brief little description of what you'll need to do this month. Actually, it's really easy this month. It's the same as the block. We're doing one block for the mystery quilt. Excuse me, I have something in my eye. Anyway, I'd love it if you'd hit that subscribe button. I always love new subscribers. Thank you so much. And I am on social media at Create with Claudia, where you can find things that I post daily. For this pattern, for the tutorial for the Greek Cross block, you can visit my website, www.createwithclaudia.com, and I have a tutorial on there as well as a downloadable PDF. So thanks so much for stopping by and enjoy the video. Alright, so here's this jumbo block we're going to be making today. It's the Greek Cross, and it's 18.5 inches square. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the fabric that we're going to need, and I'm going to tell you how much of each one. So the background fabric, which in this case for this block is this dark purple in the corners. For the background fabric, you're going to need 1/4 yard. For fabric A, which is this sort of polka dot purple here, around this, you need a fat quarter. For fabric B, which is this plaid, this pale purple plaid right here, you need 1/8 of a yard. And lastly, for fabric C, for the middle square, this is this dark purple, you just need a 6.5-inch square. So that's what you need to make this quilt block. And now I'm going to show you how we lay it out. This is a really easy block to make, so I like that. Okay, so first off, before I show you how to lay it all out, I forgot that I need to tell you how to cut everything. That would help, wouldn't it? So the first thing we're going to do is cut our background squares, and as usual, I'm using this pale green. If you're quilting along with me on my Stars of the Prairie 2021 quilt, mystery quilt, I am using this green. It's a real pale green. I use that every month. So that's my background, and on your background you're going to cut 2 squares that are 7.25 inches square. So 2 squares of your background fabric, 7.25 inches square. For fabric A, I'm using this great yellow batik with some interesting patterns in it. You're also going to need 2 squares of fabric A cut 7.25 inches. You're going to need 4 rectangles cut 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So that's those 4. For fabric B, which in this case we're using this dark purple, you need 4 rectangles cut 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches, and that equates to this pale purple plaid here. So again, a fabric B, you need 4 rectangles cut 6.5 inches by 3.5 inches. And then last but not least is that center square, and that's your square cut 6.5 inches square, and in this case it's pale purple. In this block it was that dark purple stripe. So the first thing we get to do is we get to make half square triangles, which I've done a lot of times, but if you're not familiar, stick around, I'll show you how. But if you are familiar, go ahead and skip ahead and I'll show you how to lay out the whole block. It really is a very easy block once you get those half square triangles done. Okay, so now we need to make those half square triangles, and for that you need 4 for this block. You're going to have 1 in each corner. And for that you're going to need your 2 squares, your 2 large squares, 7.25 inch squares of background fabric, and you'll need the 2 from your fabric A. So what you want to do is you're going to take this lighter square and you're going to draw a diagonal line down it. And I'm using pencil today. I normally wouldn't use pencil, but this way you can see it better on the camera. I would use a water soluble normally for this. So there you go, there's your mark, and I've already done it on this other one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pair up that fabric A with your background fabric, right sides together. And let's see, there we go. All right, and I'm going to put these aside, I'll do those later. You're going to sew down each side of that drawn line 1/4 inch, a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have sewn down each side of that of the line that I drew earlier. 1/4 inch on each one, and then we're going to take our rotary cutter, we're going to split this square in half, and you're going to do that on that line you just drew. And there they are, split in half. And then you're just going to take that over to your pressing surface and press open. I would press to the dark, and I'm going to go do that on both of those, and then we're going to trim them down. Alright, so here are half square triangles. I made all 4 of them. Now they're still a little big, so we're going to have to trim them down, and we need to trim all of them down to 6.5 inches square. So let me get my nice big ruler here so you can see. The way I trim them down, this ruler, it's nice, it has a diagonal line, so that helps me line up that diagonal line so I can get an accurate cut. The first thing you want to do is square off one corner, one of these corners, so we'll do that. So I line up, if you can get the fabric to stop slipping and sliding. You line up that diagonal line along the diagonal line you sewed, and then just making sure it's all right, looks good. Hold it down firmly and then just cut across the outside. There you go. Now you have a nice starting corner here. You're going to flip that around, and then you're going to take that ruler again and find your 6.5 inch point where it intersects right here on that diagonal line, and that's going to be your corner. And you're going to line up this side, and your diagonal line. And that looks pretty good. I will take that. And then you'll just trim off that other edge. Alright, so there we have it. There's my 6.5 inch half square triangle, and I'm going to go do the rest of those, and then we are ready to piece one other little part of the block and then assemble it. Like I said, nice and easy, this one. Okay, so my half square triangles are all cut down to 6.5 inches square. And we are almost ready to assemble the whole block, but first we need to piece one more part. And for that you're going to need those rectangles you cut earlier. You're going to need the 4 from fabric C and the 4 from fabric B. And what we're going to do, very easy, you're just going to piece them together, if I can get them apart. Right sides facing. And you're just going to sew down the long side a 1/4 inch seam. And we are using a 1/4 inch seam allowance in this, so, a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance in this. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll have 4 units, and then we are ready to put the block together. Alright, so there it is. I've pressed it open, it's all ready to go, and we're ready to assemble this block. I kind of like this secondary design that this batik fabric is giving me here, so that should be interesting. So the fabric A should be pointing outside, and the fabric B should be pointing to the center. And we're just going to lay this out. Get that center block like so. And your background triangle should be to the outside. Alright, there we go. And then you would piece it like you would any other block. So I would do it row by row. So I would sew this row together, this row together, this row together, and then sew each of the 3 rows together. So when I come back, this big monster block, 18.5 inch Greek cross, will be done. Alright, so here it is. Here's my finished Greek cross. It's an 18.5 inch square block. It's a biggie, I know. Make a nice little mini quilt if you wanted to do that, or if you just had some real special fabric you wanted to show off. Sometimes I like to do a larger block just to show off some fabrics. If you are here because you're at the 2021 Quilt Along, go ahead and stay tuned, and I will tell you the directions for March. This is the 3rd block in the mystery quilt. It's not a quilt along, as I misspoke earlier. It's a mystery quilt. And this is block number 3. So if you stuck around, that means you're doing the mystery quilt, or you're interested in doing it. I hope you do it. It's a lot of fun. And this is our 3rd block. I think I said that before. And the nice thing is, from here on out, we're only doing 1 block a month. They're big blocks, but there's just 1 a month. So basically the instructions for the block that I just went over are all you need to know for the March mystery quilt block. So that's nice and simple, and it's going to be like that for the rest of the year until November, and then in December we put it all together. So again, March is the Greek cross. You can find the pattern and download it if you want to work on it later. You can find all of the information for the mystery quilt and on my website, www.createwithclaudia.com. If you just want the quilt block pattern, that is over there as well. There's a link in the description of the video, and it is also on my website. There is a downloadable PDF for you, so you can print it out and do it later, but it's all there for you, ready to go. All right, we're finished with our Greek cross. Here it is, the finished block that we just finished up. I really love that yellow outside. I think that really makes it pop. It's just a really fun and easy block to make, and this one again measures 18.5 inches. I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. I always love new subscribers, and I am on social media at Create with Claudia. And don't forget, if you want the tutorial and the downloadable pattern for the Greek cross quilt block, you can visit my website, createwithclaudia.com, where all of the information is available. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.